What up? What up? What's up, fight fans? We are back at it with another edition here at Round One Sports TV. I'm always your host, Edwin. Where the wall fights start, round one. So we got an amazing episode for you here today. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Click that bell notification icon. It'll alert you when I go live, and it'll alert you to all the latest topics that Round One Sports Talk is putting out. So today we're going to be talking about an interesting one. We're going to be talking about Zuffa boxing, and is Zuffa our savior? You be the judge. So fight fans, let's lock in. Let's tune in for this episode, and like always, let's get this episode started. What up, what up, what up? All right, all right, all right. So, Frontline, what it do, baby? What it do? Frontline, come up here, man. Real quick. I'm gonna need Frontline to talk to and shit. So, we got Zuffa boxing. A lot of you are aware of Zuffa boxing, but you might be aware of Zuffa boxing, but you might be in the dark with a lot of particulars like myself. I don't claim to know everything about Zuffa boxing, right? And I don't claim to know all the logistics or ins and outs to the organization. So I had to go and use Google search, right? And just to look up some of use Zuffa's rule structures, right? And I think I'd rather screen share this with you guys. That way you guys can kind of say and see what this is all being said and what the structure is like. So I'm going to put that up. But there has been what up, Towers? How you doing, brother? In the building. There has been a lot of things said about Zuffa. There has been a lot of things said about boxing. But one thing for sure, and I'm going to have to get some pushback, that Zuffa is not honoring our belts. So I am not honoring that Zuffa belt, and I do not recognize that Zuffa belt as a world championship belt. You know what I recognize that Zuffa belt as? Matter of fact, it just arrived. New on Ryan One Sports Talk.
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. We got to introduce it properly.
Properly?
We got to introduce it
It
properly.
just got here. It's in
All
the
right.
building.
All right. All right. Fuck it. Do it.
It's coming up. No. Let's roll the tape and roll the clip. And a lot of people said, yo, Edwin, why you tripping on Zuffa and shit, right? And I said, yo, they said a lot about our belts. Basically, they're saying that the belts that Muhammad Ali had, Floyd had, they ain't shit. And they got all these people that they're paying. Max Callumhans of the world, the Oscar De La Hoyas at the time. You've seen Oscar change his tune in recent times now. Now the belts matter to Oscar. But when he sold the ring to Turkey Al-Sheikh, of course, well said by the man that just paid you millions of dollars for that Ring magazine company, right? So a lot of people have said the darndest things, but I pay attention to the things that matter. And these are the kind of things that matter right here. I was just on with my boy Claymore. We was chopping it up about this. Shout out to Claymore. You know what I'm saying? It's all love. Never taking shots at the man. He's good at what he does. Check it out. And this, I just wanted to show him, like many, where some of this shit started from, right? And let's just tell the truth. They talking about tell the truth and not spin narratives. Okay, ain't this out the horse's mouth? Right here? Let's see what he has to say about our prestigious belts and if he's going to honor them. Check it out.
Is there going to be a Zuffa belt where, like, the winner of the Zuffa belt has a springboard into like Riyadh season and a championship fight, a Ring magazine fight?
You and I have never talked about this, but the answer is yes.
Right,
That's
of
exactly
course.
what will happen.
Of course, yeah. Right.
There will be a Zuffa belt, and then there will be a ring belt. And yes, I will not recognize any of the other sanctioning bodies.
Woo!
Is there going to be...
Yo, I will not recognize any of the other sanctioning bodies. Will not recognize them, meaning They ain't shit. That's probably the nicest way he's ever said it. And I chose that video because the other videos that he
Wait a
has,
second. Wait. Hold on. Let's back up a little bit. He's not recognizing any of the other sanctioning bodies. But
no,
did he not invite the IBF to the Sufa fight for the
yes,
J.O. Pataya fight?
yes. Now, even gets deeper. It's a deeper criminal link, as Two Tone once said. Check this out. Where this all originated from was the Arthur Demetrius Bivol fight. Remember when Arthur and Demetrius Bivol fought for all 4 belts and the ring? When Arthur won the first one, where were all the belts? You didn't see any of them.
Out of sight.
Turkey wouldn't allow them to put them on Arthur. You know what he gave Arthur? That made up belt that said undisputed. Remember? That's what Arthur held up. He also tried to take the belts away from the first Tyson Fury fight. And in the second one, all the belts said when they came out the planes. Remember when they had that post fight conference and they were showing them? They had the belts on the table. And they finally had the belts on the table. He couldn't stop it for long, Turkey, because the belts were like, "Yo, this is our fight for these belts." You know what I'm saying, Turkey? You are flipping the bill, but we gotta show our belts. So Turkey has always made, and he doesn't even have everyone that he's paying. You see, Turkey himself doesn't have to come out and
No,
say,
no. Fuck that. You got to show the Sufa belt then. If it came in, you got to show it. You got to
I'm going to
show
show
it.
it. I'm going to show it. Hold on. When it comes to Turkey, he doesn't have to actually himself say that the belt ain't shit. But he taught me about his ways of his people. Turkey himself said, when I talk for the prince. That's how we roll. So watch how you talk to me, Turkey al Sheikh. When I speak, it's like if the prince is speaking. So if that's the way of your land, when Dana White speaks, it's like if you're speaking. You understand? When Max Callahan speaks, it's like if you're speaking. You pay their checks. Dana White works for you. He's a reflection of you. Everybody that you pay and have that saying that our belts ain't shit, that's a reflection of you, which you taught me that. Turkey al Sheikh. You're the one that taught me that lesson. All right? And then you're going to come over and say, you're not going to recognize any of our belts? We're professional boxing. We were here first. How dare you come in the game and tell the world that you, Zuffa, is not going to honor our belts? Who the hell are you? You know what I think of your belt? This is what I think of your belt. Here, I got a belt for you. Right here. My Zuffa version. Right here. You see it right here. Look at that belt shining. Yo, hubcap. It's a hubcap, right? And you got to fight tomato cans and tuna cans. You know what I'm saying? You know Campbell's got to sponsor the event. You know what I'm saying? Because there's tuna cans. You know what I'm saying? You know how they do. You know? That's their belt. I had to get one. I got to put it up so that I have all the belts according to them. You know, because you know how I like to keep all the belts and shit. Yeah. I had to get my own super belt. You know what I mean? You gonna say my belts ain't shit. You ain't gonna recognize my belt. You ain't gonna recognize our belts. I don't recognize your belt. Yo, yeah, listen. We gotta find a spot for this. We
That's
gotta
a paper
find it.
champ.
Listen, what you mean? This is an original hubcap from a lawnmower in 18 something. This hubcap, all right? You fight for this hubcap. You know what I'm saying? That's how we roll, baby. You know what I mean? Let's go, Super champions. When they walk in the club, they might as well be walking with this motherfucker right here.
Yeah.
Get that hubcap out of here. Get that fucking up. We don't want that hubcap. Roll out. Talk about you ain't gonna honor our belt. You ain't gonna honor our belt. We ain't gonna honor yours. Zuffa. I got your Zuffa right here, baby. Right here. Super World Champion. That's about as much as what it means. Right
Yo,
there.
who's the sponsor? Who's the
Huh?
sponsor? Who's
Campbell soup, tomato cans. You know what I'm saying? You know how we get down over here?
yeah,
Fuck out of here. Dana White gonna threaten the boxing world. We're not gonna honor your belts.
yeah,
Fuck your belt then. Real talk.
yeah.
How
Yeah,
you
I
gonna
think
say,
Alberto wants the link to where you got it at. That's an
yo,
exclusive.
yo,
That was made. That was made for round one.
listen, what you mean? They already ordering them. You know what I'm saying? Yo, this was a lot of hard work right here. You know what I'm saying? And dedication. I fought
That's
a lot of
arts
tomato
and crafts
cans.
right there.
Yo, listen, I fought a lot of tomato cans to earn my position. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, talk
Yo,
about
shout out to the chat. Towers is in the building. True Power Media says que onda round one.
what up.
Alberto says salute. Jason says what up round one in front line. Alberto says shout out to Clay. Clarissa says Turkey didn't allow the Border Wars belt either.
Wow.
Um, Alberto
He's
says
shitting on
late.
everything we built in boxing while saying his shit is the best. And we were here first. Shit, I think even Border Wars was here longer than him. Turkey only been in the game 3 years. I think Border Wars was a long longer. That Border Wars belts are fucking should be the shit. And guess who backed Ness up in Border Wars? The WBC, not Zuffa. Not Zuffa. The WBC backed Ness up with them green belts. They gonna get on the mic talking about got Dana White saying, we're not gonna honor their belts. Who the fuck are you? What you mean?
Hey,
We're
Alberto says
professional boxing. Remember, you're trying to be us. Remember that, Dana White. You're trying to take over boxing. Yeah, how dare you say that Muhammad Ali's belt ain't shit? How dare you say that what Floyd did, what Oscar, every fucking champion, Andre Ward, Terrence Crawford, Vasily Lomachenko, fucking everybody, Julio Cesar Chavez. You're gonna tell me that Julio Cesar Chavez belts ain't shit and that there's no legacy behind them just because the system is flawed. Brother, you're telling us something we've already know. Boxing's corrupt. It's always been like that. Stop saying something we don't know and fix it. But this shit, Zuffa, I don't know yet. I'm still reserved. Is it good for boxing? Is it not? Is it our savior? I don't know. I got to admit, a lot of fighters are saying that they sound happy over there, but I also know and I also see well said from the company that's paying your paycheck. I think you would talk about highly from a place that put some money in your pocket. You was a starving boxer. Most boxers that ran to Zuffa were starving, and some couldn't keep up with their lifestyle that they tried to build in boxing. They bought too many gold chains, too many cars, and they ran over there. So, yes, I know what it's like to catch starving people. Give them a little bit of money. Their tune is going to change. You're going to become their best friend. You saved them. Because in real talk, them boxing streets are lonely when you don't got a fucking top shelf promoter. So I hear the boxers. They're fucking starving out there and something needs to be done. But I'm not sure if it's this. Not the way it's playing out. Now, I'm reserved on Zuffa. I'm with it and I'm against it. I do this a lot in my life because I tell you guys I do this with my fighters. I try to take myself out from something so when something happens, I'm not so blindsided. I'm not just walking in, oh yeah, you guys are the best, and boom, get the bullet in the back of the head because you didn't see it coming. I'm a bit more reserved. But I also know, yo, shit talking is shit talking. Dana White had a lot to say. I had some jokes. I made a little joke. It's only in love. If Zuffa in 4 years, if they're still around kicking on all cylinders, and it seems like I might have an apology to make. And I'll know that if they have proven themselves. But first, they got to prove themselves, and they got to treat these fighters right. Fuck around in 3 years, a fighter leaves Zuffa, right? He only had a 3-fight deal. Then all of a sudden, he leaves. He goes back into boxing, and on the fine print of his contract, it says you've sold your promotional rights to Zuffa for the next 10 years for those 3-fight deal. Some shit like that. I'm not saying that that's in there. I'm making that part up. But what if something like that happened? And then you start hearing these horrific stories.
Yo, but
Yo,
Edwin,
signed with him.
don't these fighters when they sign a contract, don't they have their lawyers review that
Yeah,
shit?
yeah, yeah. They do. But yo, wording, the proper wording is a motherfucker.
A
I learned
lawyer
that.
would pick up on it though.
No, not all lawyers. You would think so. That's not all lawyers are not the same skill level. They're not. There are lawyers out there. Trust me and believe me. I've lost a case that I thought it was solid. Wording and over money. Over money. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that's almost the same thing that Oscar did to Devin Haney and them. And then that's why Devin and them wanted to sue him, because the truth of the matter is Bill got over promoted in that fight with them. He said yes to too many things, and he was saying yes to something that was worded different. And Oscar proved it. And he didn't have to show him any other records or financial to the pay-per-view, Oscar, and he'll never know the number. He's pissed behind that.
Well, I just want to
There's
clarify. I want to
and
clarify
I'm
something.
telling you, just like there's levels in boxing, there's levels in being a lawyer. There's lawyers that are really fucking smart. Trust me.
No, I
And
got you on that, but just to clarify and correct me if I'm wrong.
yep.
Now, mind you, we don't know all the facts. At least I don't.
No,
And
that's
I'm
why I
and
say 3 years, 3, 4
but
years. That's why I'm
but
saying
no no
three,
no.
4 years.
Besides the whole Sufa shit, I'm speaking on the boxer's end.
Yep.
I know. Well, I don't know. I've heard that they don't pay sanctioning fees, right?
Mhm.
Supposedly, um, it's a redirect from how they're actually paying the sanctioning fees. But I heard that they use Sufa's lawyers to represent them. They use Sufa's training facilities. They use Sufa's trainers. It's not like they could bring their own trainers in. They can't. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't
At
know
least
all the
that's what I've been
particulars to that.
told.
Yeah, I don't know all the particulars on that. I think that as far as what Dana White, the structure he has it in the UFC, there was basically two promoters in all of UFC. There was one that had like 80% of them, and there was this other low guy that you barely heard his name. I only heard his name a couple times throughout UFC. But I heard he was hard to work with. If I could remember his name, I'll tell you. But anyway, long thing is the way that you can control and bring structure to boxing, you would have to control all the fighters. If you didn't do that, you would just have regular boxing. If what they're saying is true, like Claymore says, they all have their own lawyers, they all have their own managers. I doubt that very much, but I didn't want to say anything, right? Because that never worked in the UFC, and if you let that work, what you have is just regular boxing if it's still the Wild Wild West. What you would have to have is structure. Okay? Now, the other thing about it is having them in uniforms and taking away the ability to be walked out with a rapper. All the people
Sponsor.
all the people in the ring, the promoters in the ring, Dana White doesn't want no one in the ring. No one in the ring.
Well,
He
not to
doesn't
mention
want
their sponsors either.
not their sponsors. You can't wear sponsorships on your shorts. Nothing. They own that. Okay. Now, if they get a Nike deal, an Adidas deal, Zuffa, they will give the fighters a percentage. I verbally heard Dana White talking about something like that. Now, I don't know what the percentage is, so I don't know what's going on. But I've also heard, and I've interviewed fighters from Zuffa myself that have told me that the facilities in the UFC thing there that Dana White has is all free. They can do strength and conditioning, their food, their diets, everything. So when I see things like that, my spider senses go off quick. There's no such thing as a free lunch. There is no such thing. Why are you helping me so much in the beginning? What is your end game? You yourself said Turkey couldn't sustain putting a fight card together and losing 20 million after every fight card. It wasn't going to make for good business. So you turn around, you buy a few entities, you charge up with the zone in them. All of a sudden, we're paying $500 a year for a subscription, right? You own the Ring magazine, you own Zuffa, you got shares in Matchroom, and you have all the promoters in the zone at the same time. Who's really pulling the strings here? So I step back for a second and I'm like, bro, what seems too good to be true, mom always said it's too good to be true. At some point, that collar on that leash that they have on you is going to tighten up. And their real agenda eventually is going to show up. I'm just waiting for the day. I'm just reserved. I'm just reserved. And don't take my reporting and let me veer you away from Zuffa boxing. No, I encourage you to watch Zuffa boxing. I watch it myself. There will be times I will be covering Zuffa boxing and I will be watching, and I want to see how they grow. If they are what they say they are, I will be the first to apologize, acknowledge for the entity they are and becoming in the future. Okay? It won't be the first time in my life that I've been wrong about something. You understand? But at
Hey,
least
Edwin,
I
let me catch up.
question it. At
Let me
least
catch
I
up with the
question
chat.
it.
Let me catch up with the chat. While I catch up with the chat, won't you display the new your new toy, your new
My new
acquiry?
belt? Bro, my belt. Come on, bro. You know what it is? That shit came in. Look at that
Jason,
bad boy.
just hold it
At,
right there.
right there, dog.
Yeah,
Right there.
Jason says Campbell Soup sponsor, laughing emoji.
Hey yo, you
Albert
listen. You gotta fight. You gotta fight a tomato can, or you know what I'm saying, a
or a
tuna
tuna
can.
can, a
You,
tuna.
you know what I'm saying? But
Albert
Campbell's is always sponsoring the
eh,
event. All kinds of cans. You know what
Al-
I mean?
Alberto
Super
says Alberto
fucking
says I'm
hubcap.
ready.
That's a legit hubcap right there. You know what I'm
Al-
saying?
Alberto says I'm ready to fight for the Sufa Hubcap belt of the world.
Whoa,
Um,
we got our first fighter right there.
let's
Who
sign
wants
him,
to get
Edwin.
down with him? Yo,
Yeah,
Stock Chaser, fight for the
that.
Super Belt. Stock Chaser, stop playing. You know you like that Super Belt.
That one dude says gay more lame has two of them. Boxing Unwrapped says round one about to go missing.
Yo,
Uh,
I'm about to go missing.
Alberto says that shit better not be more than $100. Laughing emoji.
$100, dog. I made this.
That-
I made this out of
what?
cardboard. I spray painted this bitch.
A
This
paper
is
champ.
tinfoil.
That's a paper champ right
I
there.
went to the fucking to the recycling place. Shout out to the recycling place in my neighborhood. My man found me a small hubcaps because the other hubcaps were huge. Yo, he got me a lawnmower hubcap. That shit was on his walls like an antique shit. He gave it to me. He said he wants to see the belt when it's done. Yo, I
There it
made
is.
this myself. I spray painted this bitch with black spray paint and gray spray paint. I designed it,
Wait,
everything.
where did you get the little emblems on the side though? The tomato can and
This
yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's cardboard wrapped with tinfoil.
yeah.
And I took the labels off all my cans in my on my shelf. I got tomato can. I took the labels
Tuna can.
and I look at that. Those are staples. I stapled
Yeah.
it to the fucking thing. I made this shit.
Yo. Yo, shout out to Cecil in the building. He says, "What up, round one in front line?"
I'm just real
Uh,
creative. I'm real arts and craft. You know what I'm saying? Yo, my
wow.
teacher, everybody used to always like me to draw shit and make shit. I used to win all kinds of arts and shit prizes. I was that kid that actually made his science project. This guy.
Yo,
Yeah. And I didn't make
round
no
one is
volcano.
Wawa says round one, salute and chat. Sufa belt fire says Wawa. Bull Rider, what's new round one? What's up, frontline? True Power Media says better have a top-notch attorney that has no ties to Sufa.
Yeah.
I'm just someone says managers and lawyers regarding going over the paperwork. Cesar says Saudi is pulling the plug on live golf, El Hilar soccer team, and guess what's next?
Oh yeah, I heard something about that. They've already pulled out because you know that like Turkey and Sufa, they've been in a lot of different sports and shit, but they struck out in a couple places too. And I heard just yesterday, or was it this morning, that they're pulling out of golf, soccer, and something else. What
And
did he?
Cesar said, and guess what's next?
Boxing.
Sufa.
Yeah, probably.
Stock Chaser says, what's good round one? Drop the link. Can I talk to your son?
Yo, I'm dropping the link
Uh,
right now.
he's got the laughing emoji. Stock Chaser said, frontline was good, gang. I'm just someone recovery. I'm just someone salute round one in frontline.
Salute.
Clarissa says, any can.
Any
Um,
can. Any
that one
can
dude,
get it. You know what I mean?
that one dude says stock going to steal it.
Yo, you know Stock's gonna steal it.
That's
Yo,
why
you're
he
gonna be
wants
like,
the
let me
link.
see it, Edwin, start
He-
running, bro. Yo,
that
get him. Yo.
um Cesar says, and the new
And the new.
QS 17 in the building. Salute. Um Stock Chaser says that when he replies to that one dude, he said, if there's a hubcap, I'm on it.
I'm on it. Yo, did you say that was a hubcap? Let me see that shit. Yo, gone. The belt's still there, but the hubcap's missing.
Listen.
Yo, check it out. Okay, so as far as like we were talking about like the rules and stuff and like how. So let me see. If hey, babe, how you doing? Zuffa Boxing launching in 2026 under TKO Group. Aim to okay. Let's see. Yes, I am live. Yes. Why you want the here? Hold on a second, guys. Here you go. Take that. Okay. So where was I? Hey, frontline. Can you see that? Can you read that, please?
I can't see it. It's too small.
It's too small. Hold on. I got you. I got you. Say less. How about there?
All right. Super Box. Hold on. It's not letting me. Super Boxing launched in 2026 under TKO Group aims to modernize boxing by implementing a UFC style league based structure with
What?
centralized promotion. It will feature internal rankings, own championship belts, and likely new ring designs, while ignoring traditional alphabet sanctioning bodies WBC, BA, IBF, and BO. Key rules: centralized control, a unified league style brand focused on clean UFC like matchmaking, internal rankings, and titles. Sufa creates its own world championship and rankings, ignoring traditional competing sanctioning bodies. The
Wow.
Sufa belt. The promotion recognizes only its own belts and a Ring Magazine belt, aiming for only one champion per division. Fights are designed for clear stakes. If a champion loses, the belt changes hands immediately without automatic rematches.
Without automatic rematches, drug testing.
Uses internal, strict, and consistent testing programs similar to the UFC anti doping program. Rules and ring design. Dana White hinted at potential boxing rule changes and plans for a customized modern ring design departing from traditional boxing ring setups.
What?
Sanctioning and logistics. Nevada State Athletic Commission events are intended to be sanctioned by the NSAC as stated on ESPN. Muhammad Ali Act. SUFA intends to work within the legal framework of the Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act, potentially using proposed legislative changes like the Muhammad Ali and American Boxing Revival Act to operate their league model legally. Broadcast 12 events are planned for 2026, streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus.
We're going to do everything in our power to make sure that these guys can do what they want to do. Okay, listen, that's just all other hogwash. All right, okay. Let's talk about this. Well, we read about what they're saying in their rule structure, right? And as you can see, I let thank you, Frontline, for reading that out. You read beautifully just now. You know what I'm saying? Yo, so um look, what I take from this is why would a an entity come into boxing and want to destroy one of the laws that gave transparency to fighters, looking and protecting them and the amount of money they should receive? Okay, I remember, I forget which fighter explained it, but he said, "Oh, it was Danny Garcia." That he said, let's say that your promoter goes in the room and the streaming network tells him $1 million. He comes back to the fighter and he says they offered you 500,000. There's 500,000 he already took from you. You don't even know. And then off the 500,000 that he just told you you're fighting for, the magic manager is going to take their 20%. You know, the belts is going to take their 13% or whatever. And, you know, if you're not fighting for a belt, you know, you won't have to pay that. And then, you know, whatever. And then your coach, your corner, all that comes out of that 500,000. Now, that's what they used to, how they used to rob fighters. And then your promoter that already got you for 500,000, he's going to tax you for promotional fees on your 500,000 on top of it. Real slime ball stuff. And that guy with that suit and tie didn't take one punch to the face. He made all his money off of you. You understand? So when the Muhammad Ali Act was brought, and a lot of fighters fought for this to get transparency, for that the fighters can get more information on what they're being offered. You can't hide that from them. They want to work in between the lines of that. Doesn't that tell you something? Why do you come in boxing and want to take away the one of the rules? You know, that's just like what America does to us every day. They want us to be compassionate with a certain, you know, race of people, right? But and then it comes into our schools. And they start teaching our kids curriculum, and we start reading and we're like, yo, we're not for this as parents. And they threaten to lock us out. It's like they're coming into boxing and that doesn't strike you. Like they're blinding you to everything else. No, look at this big UFC center. Look, we're giving you nutritionists, trainers for free. We're going to make you a better athlete. No, what they're making you is a better mule. Just a stronger one so you can fight harder and stronger and longer for them. It was never their motto in the UFC to pay any of these fighters. See, Dana White, I believe he came into the sport with a good heart. And he asked the fighters when the UFC was like $44 million in debt, help me help you. You're going to have to fight for a little bit of money because I can't pay you. But I promise when we get off our feet, I'm going to take care of all of you. I bet you that's something like the vision was. Or maybe I'm just talking here. Maybe he was always evil. But I would like to see that he went into it with a good heart, because no evil man could have did something so remarkable. I don't want to think or believe. He had to have loved the UFC somehow, some way, and he was driven by it. But like all men, our hearts can be easily corrupted. Mankind. Once that money started coming in and Conor McGregor hit the scene, he didn't want to part with them. Why should I pay you more if you're already fighting for this? And he kept it that way. And in the end, UFC suffered from it, yes. Dana White was sued, multiple lawsuits. One payout was like $375 million. I don't know how much individually they got, or if every fighter got everything they want, but I know after that lawsuit, there were two more pending in court. Because when I saw the report when Dana White came out and they asked him about it, I saw it. So when he came over with Turkey, Turkey's looking for a resolution to control boxing. He didn't need someone else that was already in boxing. Don't you notice? Why didn't he pick Oscar De La Hoya? Why didn't he pick Bob Arum in Top Rank? Frank Warren, Ed Hearn to run his Zuffa League? Why? Because he saw real quick, you guys were already here and the problems like this. None of you are competent. You're in boxing right now and none of you are fixing it. Because boxing needs help. It really does. I'm not saying that everything is great in boxing. No. We need help. We need structure. We need change. We really do. I'm just not sure if it's coming in this way. That's all. I'm not just willing to see the first new shiny thing and going, that's our savior. I've seen that before. And I've seen how that turned on the people. I've seen how they used to make these events for the city and tell our kids to get off the streets. Why don't we put together a basketball summer league and the winner walks away with trophies and shirts and the kids can feel good about themselves. And after every game, when them kids come out of that basketball gym, the game task force is sitting out there with Polaroid cameras, putting every kid against the wall and taking their picture while young. And we realized what they were doing. They only did the summer league to get all the kids from the neighborhood in there so they could take their pictures young and link them to crimes later. They showed us something that was supposed to be advertised as good for the kids. Get your kids out of the house. They don't need to be in the streets. Get them involved in sports. And they used the very thing they gave us and fucking try to lock us up with it. And mark our kids as gang members when half of them weren't even in gangs. You forced them into the gang. Then what they do with those Obama phones? Yeah, here's a free cell phone. It was wiretapped to every drug dealer got caught in America. I've seen things like this. They come out and they give you all the great stuff. How many times do you? Oh, there's a puppy in the minivan. I got puppy and candy, bro. I'm not getting in that van. I'm not going to your basketball league. I'm not signing my kid up. And I'm not signing my kid up to your registration in your school where you put a chip in my kid. You see the new thing now? They say it's for that they can monitor your kid if he ever goes missing. And he got a photo of your child in school. They're doing that. No. Talk about what if your kid gets abducted? Yeah, right. What if my kid goes on a run and he has to smack the Pope because the Pope done touched his ass and he had to smack the shit out of him and y'all track him? Yo, son, run! You know what I'm saying? Yo, nah, bro. It seems like they branding us. It's just, there's a lot of things in my life I've seen that were portrayed as good and later it wasn't what it seemed. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that it's occurred or happened yet. No. I'm willing to see the UFC, the Zuffa through. I'm willing to hear them out. I'm willing to watch their fights, broadcast their fights, talk about their fighters if they're great fights. Let's see where this goes. You know what I mean? But I'm not all in. No. Because a lot of my good fighters have already crossed the line. Like Edgar Berlanga, Richard Hitchens. They're not my favorite fighters, but they were fighters that were in our game. And I listen, no matter what I think about Richard Hitchens, I would not want to see anything bad happen to his career. And that he signs a slave wager deal not knowing what he signed. I wouldn't want to see Edgar Berlanga go over there and they put him in the ring and they brutalize the dude. They put him in with some real fucking Rocky Balboa Russian type dude. You know what I'm saying? And they punch his head in and something awful happens to him. Over there for the amusement of these guys always wanting to put the toughest fighters fighting the toughest until somebody lies dead in that ring. They're not going to be happy.
Let me
If
catch up
you,
with the chat, Edwin.
yeah, go ahead.
Boxing and Rap says first title defense is at Key Food parking lot.
Yeah,
Wilfredo
yeah.
Wilfred says Sufa is paid for that with that $1 billion Paramount Plus deal, 5 years.
Mm.
What's in jeopardy is the ring and Riyadh season cards. Pug says that's Richard Hitchens, WWF Brooklyn Brawler, Brooklyn Sufa belt. That one dude says adults usually read books to kids. In Frontline's case, kids read books to him. He ain't shit.
You ain't
J
shit.
J Ross says, sup, Will. Will
Uh,
says he didn't destroy it. He added to it so Sufa can do what they want. The core elements of the act are still there. He's talking about the Muhammad
The
Ali act.
Muhammad Ali Act, yes,
Yeah.
I understand.
Sup, bro? That one dude. When I confronted Claymore about my worries for the fighter and that class action lawsuit that the UFC lost, Clay and his host said, "Who gives a shit about the fighters?"
Yeah,
Wilfred says they're paying them now. UFC didn't have a
that's
TV
fucked
deal
up.
when they
That's fucked
started.
up. Who gives a shit about the fighters? The guys that are actually going in the ring and getting punched in the face, he's more backing the suits and ties. The crooks that fucked up boxing in the first place. Remember, boxers never fucked up boxing. It was all the promoters, the streaming apps, all that. That fucked up boxing. And Claymore actually said, fuck the boxer. You know why? Well said from a man that never took a punch in the face in a ring. You never even fought an amateur fight.
J Rod says fighters want to fight. They want they want to make money. There are lots of fighters that signed with Sufa that were getting pennies elsewhere. I'm just someone. Dana is a boxing fan. That one dude. He's also degenerate businessman who hits his wife. Well,
Nah.
that one dude, since I don't know how to read or kids read to me, you gotta your punctuation, your apostrophes and all that shit gotta
Yeah,
go in place. So you gotta learn how to spell.
you got to learn how to
I,
type then. You know what I'm saying?
the kids that read to me can also show how to write.
They type good. They're really good at it.
They type
They're
really
really
good.
good at it. They're really good at it. Yo, Dana White, check it out. Check it out. Check out how much of a motherfucking power he got. But you gotta see who Dana White is. Like one of his best friends, a fucking Dana White. Isn't he having a UFC fight card in the White House on June 14th? You do know whose birthday is June 14th, besides myself. Donald Trump's birthday is June 14th. He has a lot of powerful friends, Dana White, in high places. This man literally smacked his wife on tape while someone filmed it. He smacked the shit out of her. She did smack him, and he smacked her back. This man literally smacked his wife and kicked off a smack off league the next month. The smacking league, the way you get smacked.
Maybe that was a
Coincidence?
promotion. Maybe that was a promotional
Like,
clip.
listen. Nah, I think he was just like, you know what? I can smack my wife and get away with it. I'm gonna make a smack a league. Was it a mockery? Was he telling the world I could get dudes to smack themselves? I just smacked the shit out of my wife. You want to talk about me, man? I'll make a league where dudes smack themselves. How about that? Talk about power.
Yeah, I'm just someone says they're not the first, but they are well funded. Yeah, but the trauma has nothing to do with the legitimate private business that can get sued if they misrepresent. Wilfredo says, round one, not trusting the government is completely different. Stock chasers, round one, hopefully I get time.
He
I
wants me to
guess.
drop the link and then he hopefully gets time. You know what I'm saying? Because I just want to let you guys know, right now, yo, stock chasers, I am not going to let nobody know. I'm not going to tell them that you just text me and you want first cracks at the new Zuffa belt. You know what I'm saying? In C-Town parking lot. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be stock chasers. No, it's gonna be stock chasers. What's that dude that told you can't read? Who is it? Frontline?
that one dude.
That one dude is going to be Star Chaser versus that one dude in C-Town parking lot, and Frontline's going to be the referee for the Zuffa World Title. All right,
Yo, it's not C Town, it's Key Foods. There's a
it's
difference.
Kifu.
There's a difference.
Well, in New Jersey, is C-Town, so
Yeah, down in the south is Key
it's
Foods.
Key Food.
Yeah. Um Wilfred says they also fighters that burnt bridges with other promoters. Berlanga Hitchens. Cesar says Dana White's UFC was being investigated for fight fixing last year. This year, UFC announced they will be training FBI agents, and UFC is having a card at the White House.
Okay, check this out.
That
What
one dude
happened?
says, "Let's go, champ."
Let's go. Yo, check it out. Check it out. First of all, where that stems from the UFC fixing fights, it wasn't Dana White ever fixing fights. No, I don't believe that. Dana White is a monster. He likes to see blood. He doesn't want to see a fucking scripted fight. Dana White will kick you out of the UFC if you try to script some bullshit. What happened was this. One of the coaches that used to fight on fucking Dana White's UFC, now he started coaching dudes and he was fighting here and there, right? What he decided to do is he decided to gamble. And a lot of people started giving him their account and their money and believing in him to place their bets. That's how big he was getting. So he and a lot of other coaches started like fixing fights. They were having the guy go down in the second or get submitted. Because if you put a bet on him getting submitted, the guy taps. So he went on a fucking podcast and basically gave the whole recipe because he wanted to like taunt and show how smart he was. He wanted to show the UFC and how the gambling thing, like how he gets over. His ego was so big that he didn't check what he was saying. No sooner that interview cut off, they banned him from the UFC. Him and a bunch of his fighters that were signed to him, they all had to scatter. He had a bunch of fighters that were signed to him that had to find new gyms and everything. He had like a title fight coming up like 3 or 4 days after that interview. He fucked up. He's banned from like all mixed martial, like gambling sites and everything because the man couldn't shut up about how smart he was and fixing fights. Then the UFC, you know how like a story like that goes. If one guy doing it, then they're all doing it in the UFC. Then social media took it and ran with it. And the only way Dana White can stop the bleeding is say, okay, we're going to get fucking federal agents in here to monitor everything. I hope you're happy. Because Dana White himself would never fix a fight. Dana White wants to see you get fucked up. And listen, if that was true, all the fights that Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson won, all the 11 straight title fights that he won, then Dana White should have liked it that. Because according to these guys' description fights, he fired him for winning. That many, like, because he didn't consider him he considered him a boring fighter. And Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson is probably the best UFC fighter I've ever seen in my life. Ever. He's so skilled everywhere. But he was so small, and Dana White didn't respect the little guy. Dana White will not protect you in a fight. That's hogwash. I will never believe that he's scripted, fixed the fight, told this guy to fall. That's bullshit. Because if that was true, George St. Pierre would have never got his ass whooped by that dude coming off the fucking Dana White Contender Series. What's his name? That dude, he fucking knocked out George St. Pierre, and Dana White lost his champion that he was promoting. That dude should have never won that fight. That was a fluke. He just caught George St. Pierre in the right spot. Caught him, Mashera. If Dana White was setting up fights, he would have never won that fight. He would have always kept him undefeated. He was a cash cow. George St. Pierre. If Dana White had it his way, nah, bro. He ain't never scripted a fight. It was them coaches and them manager dudes that were running them racket gambling things, and the UFC suffered for it. That's really what happened. But as far as Dana getting greedy with the money, he got sued and he lost. He must have been getting greedy with the money because the judge obviously felt, and the jury, yes, we award them $375 million and the lawsuits are still pending. He must have been doing something wrong. That they said that was inhumane to be paying these fighters like that. You were paying the fighter $18,000, but they were getting $50,000 if they went in there and killed themselves. You were dangling a carrot in front of their face. You were only giving them enough money to survive, but to depend on you and your free facility. You don't pay for therapy, strength and conditioning, food, working equipment. You don't pay for any of that because we provide it for free, but we don't pay you. That's another way to dress it up. You're still paying for everything in that facility. Like I told you, there's no such thing as a free lunch. They say that's all free, but they're not paying you a lot on your paycheck. Guess what's paying for all of that? The money you should have been making.
Hey, Edwin, have you noticed? Have you noticed everybody who signed to Zuffa? It's like they try to embrace and make it
Bro,
known that Dana White's like the savior. He's the best promoter in the world, and they never say nothing bad about. They like it feels like all that is scripted to me. To me, the way that these fighters, when they do their opening like statement regards to Sufa, they don't say nothing bad about Sufa. I mean, I get it; it's their first time. They're signing on. Everything looks hunky dory.
yeah, everything's gonna look good in the beginning. The nightmares don't start until they pull that curtain. Then you realize how much you gave away. Listen, in due time, them UFC fighters for years, for the first 10 years, they all look happy as fuck, boy. And it came to find out they were all starving. All the images they show them in the cars pulling up and the watches on their wrists weren't theirs. It was all rented. It was a perception. And UFC sold you that image. As soon as Conor McGregor came out with tailored suits, everybody on the panel had tailored suits. No more sweatsuits and shirts and T-shirts. All those guys were starving, come to find out. The heavyweight champion in UFC, Francis Ngannou, revealed that to us when he jumped over to boxing and said, I defended my belt once again. Again, another title shot. And they paid him $600,000 and he was the UFC heavyweight champion of the world. Remember that. That was his highest payday,
And how much
Francis
did they?
Ngannou.
And how much did he make against Tyson Fury?
Like 15 million. I think it was like 8. They gave him 8 and endorsements and everything. I think he cashed in at like 15. Then they took the taxes. He probably went home with about 9.
That's still more than he's ever made off of one fight in
And
boxing
and one fight in boxing
that he
and
his
his
whole career
entire yeah.
at UFC.
Yep.
Cesar says it's funny how people think Suleiman and Oliveri are less corrupt. That's called a fall guy. Now Dana's using all his links to Trump to sweep the investigation under the rug. Jason says George St. Pierre was a good fighter in UFC. He was holding it down.
He held it down. But Matt Serra, remember what happened that time in the UFC. He was a newly crowned um champion, George St. Pierre, and Dana White was trying to get the UFC more mainstream on TV. He was getting that Spike deal, then he was on to his next deal, and so forth and so forth. So he was really trying to kick off, and he had a star in fucking George St. Pierre. George St. Pierre was always the man. That dude was nice as fuck, right? And it just, he lost concentration for a minute in the fight. He must have like underestimated Matt Serra because Matt Serra was coming off Dana White's Contender Series where he took losers that he let go from the UFC to give them another chance to impress the boss. These are all the fighters that he fired. So he brought them all back to a house, gave it a series, and the winner got a shot at the champion. Because of the fact that Matt Serra knocked out George St. Pierre in that fight, that shit stopped right there. Now, what you got if you walk through the UFC house is that you got a UFC contract. You got like $1 million fight contract, and you had to prove yourself in the UFC now. And now that's the basic structure. Before you got out of that and you got a shot at the title to see if you could change your stars. Dana White set that up like that shot in a basketball game where they say you can win $25,000 if you enter this raffle. They call your name out, they give you a basketball, and they tell you to stand on the other side of the court. And they say, go ahead, shoot it. They don't think you're going to hit this shot. The odds are against you. But they make it fun. And he was trying to gimmick to get more viewers. But what happened when that guy fucking hook shot that bitch and it went in? And now you had to pay that $25,000 to that dude that, Matt Serra came out of nowhere and knocked out George St. Pierre, and you had to put that belt around him. And then George St. Pierre went and got the rematch and dusted him off real quick. And George St. Pierre did Matt Serra dirty the second fight. He punished him and brutalized him. He taught him a lesson. His lesson, his message was real clear. You beat me because of a fluke. You will never beat me. That was that 1 in a million shot. You hit the shot. Now let me teach you what real fighters do. And boy, did he punish that man. He punished him. Yeah.
Wilfred wants to know how much is Pro Box paying. I don't think Pro Box pays much, but I can tell you one thing: Pro Box is gladiator school.
Yeah, it gets you. You want to kind of
look
get
at
out of
Roman-
Pro
look at
Box. You don't
Roman-
want to stay there too long.
Well, no, you can stay there long. Look at Roman Cardenas.
You don't want to though.
You don't want to, but look at
Every
Ramon
fight's going to be
Cardenas.
tough. Every fight's going to be tough.
Pro Box was able to get him the Inoue fight in Vegas.
Well, no, that fell in his lap because he had the same coach as MJ. See, MJ allegedly was gonna wanted to fight Naoya Inoue, and they also have the same managers, Roman Cardenas, and they have the same coach in Jojo Diaz. So what happened was when they offered the fight to MJ, and MJ couldn't take the fight for whatever reason. No. That's not how it went. I'm sorry. Let me back that up. What happened was they paid MJ step aside money That's what happened. They were looking for a Mexican fighter and they called Alan David Picasso, the WBC #1 first. He denied the fight. They were looking for a Mexican fighter. MJ was not Mexican. They needed a Mexican fighter so he could fight a Mexican weekend in Las Vegas against Naoya Inoue. Roman Cardenas was a Mexican fighter, which had the same trainer, same people, and they said, "Yo, do you got a fighter? How high is your top rank?" And he said, Roman Cardenas was ranked whatever he was. And they said, "Will he take the fight?" And he said, "Yes." They didn't basically get him the fight. The fight kind of fell on his laps because two people got pushed to the side. Remember that. He was like the third or fourth option. You understand? Because I actually went back and looked, and quiet is kept fucking, and I said this before, that Hernandez was never looked at or viewed like that. In fact, Hernandez that fought Junto was one of the guys that they were looking to fight Naoya Inoue. But Roman Cardenas was ranked higher at the time, and they took him. Yeah.
QS 17 says Pro Box maybe help Cardenas get more exposure.
Cardenas got Cardenas more exposure by dropping Naoya Inoue. He made himself. The second he did that, Cardenas was on his way. All he has to do is get in there and perform. And his last performance, he floored that guy. Cardenas is getting Cardenas up there. He's doing that.
I'm just someone. He says Zuffa fighters get their pay and keep all of it, minus manager pay. On top, they get the benefits of the Performance Institute and medical health coverage while in camp.
Check it out. They get the performance of Medical Institute and all this stuff and Mari, right? They get all this fucking shit, but they only get paid $100,000. They get you seen the structure, right? The way Dana White wrote it up. What does a world championship fight in Zuffa pay you? 300,000?
Well, look it up. Pull it up. Pull up the structure.
Okay, we'll pull
That
it
way
up
you're
right
not.
now.
That way we're not talking out our asses. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, my brother. You know what I'm saying?
Zuffa is Pro Box with funding and contracts. It says I'm just someone. Just type in Zuffa payment structure. Something will pop up.
What's up, baby? Hold on. Yeah. Keep talking. Read the chat real quick.
I'm caught up. Zuffa payment structure. Let's see what we got here. Because Edwin is going to take his time. So, top star, high profile. Okay, Zuffa Boxing, led by Dana White, is implementing a UFC style tiered pay structure, offering consistent but modest guaranteed purses for lower tier fighters while occasionally paying massive one-off sums to top talent, such as reported $15 million for Conor Benn. This model faces criticism for at times paying debuters more than UFC champions while limiting revenue options for fighters. Top star. High profile signings like Conor Benn have received huge payouts, such as reported $50 million for a single fight. Tier structure, similar to UFC structure, reportedly includes $5,000 signing bonus, $15,000 base pay for unranked fighters, $50,000 for ranked 5 through 10, $100,000 for ranked 2 through 4, 250,000 for a title shot, and 500,000 for a title defense. Minimums. Other reports indicate purses of 75K for some fighters plus 75K win bonus.
Stop right there. Stop. Okay. When the guy said that they give you all of your paycheck and they give you all this stuff for that you can work out and all that stuff.
The Performance Institute
The
and
performance
the medical
institutes and everything.
coverage.
As you can see, 500,000 even for title defenses when you should have been getting 1 point something million dollars for your title defense shot, right? Like Brian Norman Jr. did with
Well, no.
Jin in Japan,
You're,
right?
you misheard me. it's 250,000 for a title shot and 500,000 for a title defense.
Okay, for title defense,
So
500K,
if you're fighting for the title, you get 250K.
250,000, right? You could be fighting for a title in boxing and getting over $1 million. So all that free shit they're giving you in the institute is the money they're taking from you and only paying you $250,000 when that title fight should have been worth more. So all that free shit you think you're getting for free, you're not actually getting for free. It's you that actually is paying for it. You're not, there's no word of $1 million on that whole fucking chart. Okay? And as you get bigger in the for the Zuffa and you make a title defense, only 500K to a title defense. You could be fighting for $3 million somewhere and paying some sanctioning fees and walking away with way more money. Or you could be blinded by the free institute, the free training, the food and the staff that they pay you, that they give you for free, while only paying you this much money. So no wonder you get your whole check, because you're not even making a third of what you would be making in boxing. If you were all the way up there at a title fight, I'm not talking about your first 10 fights. Zuffa hasn't taken guys that are 1-0. They're taking guys that are already established so they can quickly capitalize off their name and only give them $250,000 for a title fight. Yeah, you keep your money. You don't pay sanctioning fees because they've already taken all that out. They've already taken all of that out and they're just giving you the $250,000. Well, that in boxing, I had at least enough chance to make my million. I'll pay my sanctioning fees for my title fight. But guess what I'm going to be able to do on the back end? Get money from sponsors, promoters. I can go to somebody's birthday party. I can show up places, book signings, autographs. In the UFC, they own all of that. So they can keep telling you that you don't pay for sanctioning body fees, right? But you're not going to make boxing money because they keep that. And they pay you like if you're at a job, a salary. They're acting like you're at work and here's what we're paying you. You can't make $1 under or $1 over. Oh, yeah, if you fight stronger, we have incentive bonuses so that it'll get you and the fans believing this is really great. While meanwhile, you could have made all that money in regular boxing to yourself and not been signed your soul over in your rights. You can't have a sneaker deal. You can't come out with your favorite rapper. You can't have no sponsors that want to pay you to put their name on your trunks. You can't do none of that. Let them keep lying to you. Let them keep telling you this is free. You don't pay for this. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You would be able to make all that. That's how they're paying for all that. They're working, don't you hear what they're saying? They're working within the guidelines of the Muhammad Ali Act. Within the guidelines. What the fuck does that mean? If the guidelines were set for the Muhammad Ali Act to work, then why are you working within it? Why are you trying to change it? Not to help us, so it has to be against us. Listen, fight fans, I gotta go get my food. Thank you for hopping on Frontline. You are the best. We got the Zuffa World Champion here, and
Yeah, show him the belt before you go.
said, we're gonna have our first fight. We're gonna have Stock Chasers go up against what's his name again?
That one dude.
That one dude. Yo, you know what I'm saying? In a supermarket parking lot. And Campbell's is hosting the event. You know what I'm saying? Because we
who's he
fight
fighting?
tomato cans.
Who's that?
We fight tomato cans around here. The real Zuffa belt. Hubcap, baby. You know what I'm saying? You know, these belts ain't shit. Fight for the hubcap. You know what I mean? I can't wait for the super champion to walk in the club against the real fucking champion. Let's see how that works out. Hey, what's up, buddy? I'm real. I'm the real champion. Get that hubcap fucking belt out of here. Get that shit, man. Listen, talk about we ain't gonna honor your belts. We're not gonna honor. We're
Yeah,
not
but
gonna honor your belt then.
where's the gold on that belt? Where's the
The
gold?
gold, you don't pay for the gold. The gold is free. We made it silver. It's silver. It's silver. All right. You know what I mean? That's what they would say. They'd say some shit like that. You know what I mean? Yo, this is hilarious. Want to fuck with me and my belts? Talk about we're not gonna honor your belts. Your belts ain't shit. Well, then we ain't gonna honor you then neither. We didn't start this war, but we're willing to fight it. And I'm willing to fight for boxing, and I'm willing to fight for me and you. Here at Round One Sports Talk, we ain't going for the bullshit. You're gonna have to prove yourself. And like I said, if they are who they say they are, only time will tell. Thank you, fight fans. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to give the videos a like. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. I can't conform. I
Yo,
just can't.
we fight in the building. Yo, I got Shakur in that fight.
Yeah. All right, my dudes.
All right, bro.
Peace.